Hello everybody, back with another election video. This time we're doing the 2024 election map based on the current polls for the month of March 2024. We did a video similar to this a month ago, and I think we'll just make this a monthly series, just taking a look at the statewide polls. But starting off, we're just going to be filling in the safe blue and safe red states. I've looked at pretty much every state's polling just now, and we're just going to go on with this. Nebraska's second. There has been no poll as of right now released in this district, so we're pretty much just going to have to go off of just a guess, and I think Biden would probably be up in a poll, and Nebraska's second. Again, it's a very suburban district. It is trending blue, but we're just going to keep going, filling out these safe red states. Okay. Kansas is just also safe red. Trump's up there by like 16 or 17 points. South Carolina is also going pretty good for Trump as well. Let's see here. Now we're just going to fill in the eastern coast of blue states. Okay, I think we're good to go. So starting off with the first few states, we're going to go with the safer ones. Recent polls in New York show Biden over 10%, so it's now a safe blue state, according to the polling. So that's a change from last month. Illinois, no new polls have released, but just the most recent poll had Biden up by 9, so it's still remaining the same from last month. Moving on to Utah, there's a change here. Used to be safe red, but a recent poll has shown it's only a Trump plus 8 state. Again, it's hard to tell where Utah's going. Nikki Haley actually did fairly well in Utah for it being a closed caucus. She managed to take Trump down to only a 13-point win. If it was an open caucus, he probably would have ended up winning Utah. So, again, Utah is a state to keep an eye on. I think it's going to keep trending blue, and right now, Trump's only up there by 8 points according to the most recent polling. So, it's likely R for now, which I doubt it'll happen in the general. I think it's still going to be a safe red state, so this isn't my prediction. Connecticut, no recent polls have released, but it's still just a likely blue state according to the last poll. In New Hampshire, it's still a likely blue state. Like, no poll even has Trump under 5 in this state. Or, no poll has Biden under 5 in this state. Trump's, like, behind by 5 to 7 points. So it's a likely blue one. Going with Maine, it's actually very interesting what's going on in Maine. Apparently, a pollster found that Trump was leading in this state by a lean Republican margin, up by like 20 in Maine's second. Biden was only in single digits in Maine's first, which I kind of doubt that poll because Maine's first is a much more blue district than Maine's second is. And the other section of this poll was in the 20s or 30s. So third parties aren't getting a combined 20 or 30% of the vote in the state of Maine. That I just don't see that happening. So I really doubt this poll, which it makes me not want to change my Maine prediction for my last video. I still think it's probably going to be a likely blue state. But I'll be interested to see further polling from the state of Maine. But so far, that one poll that released there most recently has Trump up by a lean margin in this state, which is very interesting. Moving on to Iowa, the recent poll up here had Trump up by 15. It's by Seltzer. It's one of the best pollsters in the state. So I really believe that Trump's up here by a safe margin. Iowa's just gone for Democrats at this point. The most recent Ohio polls have Trump up by 10 or 11 points. I also have this as a safe red state. Moving on to Texas, we have Trump in the high single digits here, so it's almost close to a safe red state in terms of polling. Same with Florida. It could also go safe red according to the polls. So right now, Trump's up by like 8 or 9, similar to Texas polls, which have him up 8 or 9. Moving on to Alaska, most recent poll has Trump up here by 12. So it's a safe red state according to the polls. Colorado and New Mexico, both of these states are likely Democratic, according to them. In Georgia and North Carolina, Trump's up by 6 in Georgia. North Carolina's up by like 8, according on the average for these polls. So they're both likely Republican states. Moving on to Nevada and Arizona. Nevada, Trump is still up here by like 6% or something on the average of the polls. So still a likely red state. Nothing really changed from last month. Arizona, it's teetering on likely red, believe it or not. But so far, Trump's on average up here by about 4%, so it's still not likely Republican, which has to be about 5% or above. Okay. Moving on to the next few states, we got 5 more states remaining. The state of Minnesota, it's actually very interesting. If the third party vote share is high enough, then Trump actually has a chance at winning this state. However, the polls still, even with all these third parties calculated in, it still has Biden up in the state of Minnesota by a fairly decent margin. Okay, the state of Virginia. So far, the polls, some polls have it down to a lean blue margin, some have them up by a likely blue margin. But if we average them out, Biden's about ahead by like 4.1 or 4.5% from what I read. So it's pretty much a lean blue state. So we have 3 more states remaining: Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But Trump is already at 270 electoral votes because he's winning Maine now, according to those polls. Moving on to the state of Michigan, it's no longer likely red according to the polls. His lead has been diminished. So Biden's actually regaining in Michigan, which is pretty interesting. So maybe he can reverse the trends there that keep showing Trump up by like 5. So far, Trump's only up by 2 or 3 now, according to the polls in Michigan. Moving on to the state of Pennsylvania, a lot more polls have came out, so Biden has lost his lead in Pennsylvania from the last video. So far, Trump's actually up here by about 2% or 1% on average, which is out of the tilt margin. It has to be under 1 to go to tilt. So we so far pretty much have Trump up here by a pretty decent margin. So moving on to the state of Wisconsin, his lead has also improved in this state. It's no longer tilt Republican, I would say. It's probably lean Republican according to the polls averages I have seen. So far, Trump is up here. And we have 314 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 224. Other potential states that I could see going down to likely for Biden, I think we're already seeing most of the states. I would like to see a New Jersey poll because we haven't seen any polls out of New Jersey. We've seen a poll out of New York a lot of the times. California, it's pretty much just safe blue in every poll, not worth polling. Maybe a poll in Oregon I would like to see. Definitely a poll in Illinois just to check out the margin there because I really doubt it's actually likely blue. Other states I would like to see get polled. No, I think I just want to see polls out of New Jersey, Illinois, Oregon, just to see the polling averages there. Other than that, Trump has a pretty decent lead according to the polls here. He's nearly at a likely Republican margin or so, and she's carrying the electoral vote. I think back in my last video, I actually had, last video was Michigan, it was likely R, but right now that poll lead has diminished, so he used to be over that margin of 270 just with likely Republican states. So in some ways, the polling map has got a bit better for Biden. In some ways, it's gotten worse in some states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Maine. But I don't really think the electoral map's going to turn out this way, especially Maine. I think it's going to be likely blue at the end of the day. And Arizona, I think, is going to go blue as well. But other than that, this is just the current map of the polling averages across the United States of America. If you're new to this channel, I'd highly recommend subscribing, and feel free to comment down below. I always read your comments and respond to them. And yeah, thanks for watching.